Hello beadlings, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make a mermaid cuff. This type of cuff was originally designed by Zoe over at Zolly's Candyland, and she has very graciously given me permission to make a video tutorial about it for you all. If you would like to skip straight to the tutorial, timestamp is here. And for everybody else, here's the announcements. Announcement number one, my shop is officially open again. It does have a limited stock, like I'm only doing limited items for the moment, along with some customs. Just while I get back into the swing of things, it's festival season, things are a little crazy right now, but if you want to order a star chain or a cuff, shop is open, Etsy's open, my Instagram DMs are open for custom orders. Announcement number two, I went to EDC. I said that already, but EDC. I had a really good time. I will probably do a separate video about EDC. I want to do a video of my candy haul and show you all of the cool stuff that I got and traded, and I took a bunch of trade videos and I had a really good time. But this is a tutorial, so I'm going to go to the tutorial. I'm going to let you see the tutorial. There will hopefully, if I can get my shit together, be another video coming soon, which is like a haul video of everything that I got at EDC and talking about my experience there. I will also be at two other festivals this year. I will be at Base Ribbon Pines in Minnesota, and that is going to be in July. And then I will be at Base Canyon in Washington, and that is going to be in August. And those are my only other two festivals for this year. So if you want to meet me in trade and like have fun candy times, that is where you can find me. Announcement number three. Happy Pride. Welcome, gays. I am also a gay. Heterosexuals, you're on thin ice, but plur is for everyone, so you can stay if you want to. As always, this tutorial was picked by my patrons over on Patreon. If you also would like to be able to vote on tutorials, message me about stuff, see some behind the scenes content, get monthly updates, all of that, go ahead and subscribe over on Patreon. The link is in the description below. And now without further ado, here is the tutorial. Supplies that you're going to need for this project are as follows. You're going to need 9mm pony beads. I get these from beadtin.com. You can get them in a lot of different places. They're very easy to find. You need stretch cord. I use 1mm cloth covered stretch cord. I get this on Amazon. You can also get this, oh my god, I can't talk today. You can also get this on Bead Tin. You can get this at Walmart. It's pretty easy to find. You can also use other stretch cords. This just happens to be my favorite. You're going to need to make a 2X cuff. If you're not sure how to make an X-base cuff, my tutorial is here. And you need to stack it 2 high, or at least 2 high. I guess technically you could do more than 2 high, 2 X's. Hello, one thing I did forget to mention, this is very important. With your 2X cuff, you have to make sure that it is an even number of sections, by which I mean like one of these little thingies, top layers of 2 or whatever, that's a section. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections. So that's an even number. In order for this cuff to work, you have to have an even number of sections. Or I guess that also works out to an even number of beads on your starting single. So this is 36 beads around was the starting single. You could do it with 30 beads. You could do it with 42 beads. This cuff will not work if you are trying to use an odd number. So it would not work with 39 beads, for example. Just the math would not work out correctly. You're going to need scissors. I like to use a candy needle or a plastic yarn needle. You can get these on Amazon, you can get these at Walmart, you can get them at any craft store. You are also going to need 2 different sizes of round bead. You can see here I've got big pearls and little tiny pearls. These came from Joann Fabrics, I believe. You can also get them at Bead Tin, you can get them at Michael's, you can get them at Amazon. The important thing here is 2 different sizes of round bead. And a regular sewing needle. They're sharp, don't poke yourself. You're going to use this for when you put on these beads because the holes are very small usually in the round beads. And fishing line. You can also use clear stretch cord for the part that I use fishing line for, but I think fishing line is a little easier to work with, holds up better, does not snap as easy. I got this on Amazon. Okay, it's more supplies than we usually use, but that's all the supplies. The first thing we are going to do is you're going to take your 2X base cuff, and I just made mine and left the string coming out of a contact bead. If yours is already done, you tie your string on. You just want to make sure it is coming out of a contact bead there. and you tie your needle on. I've got about six feet of string here, maybe 7 feet of string, and that should be more than enough. And we are going to build out our 3D portion of the cuff. So I'm gonna do this one, and I'm gonna do this one, and I'm gonna do this one. Just figuring out my color scheme here. So we're gonna do 5 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing mine in a little pattern like that. And now instead of going directly over to this bead like we normally do, we're actually gonna go on a diagonal down to this bead. So it's still like the same vertical column, but it is the next one down. And we're gonna go through that bead and pull tight. And you can see it still makes a little point, little sticky uppy point like normal, but it's on a diagonal. Now we're gonna do the same thing again over, oh, come on, focus, there we go. Now we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna add 5 beads and we're gonna go on a diagonal to this contact bead up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there we go. Just like that. Now we're going to do it again. Add 5 beads, go into the next bead on the diagonal. And because the string is coming out, going that way, we are working that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. Goodbye. All right, and next bead on the diagonal. Here we go. Swoop. All right. So we're gonna repeat that all the way around the cuff. And you're gonna, when you get back to this end, you'll be coming into this bead here. It's gonna look like this, alternating like V's and, I don't know, arches type deal. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back around at the beginning. I just added 5 beads. We're gonna go back into this contact bead here. Boop, just like that. There we go. Don't mind me, I'm just dropping everything today. Okay, so when you're done with that first step, here's what it's gonna look like, right? All the way around. And now we are just gonna go down through this arm, right, of this next thing. You're gonna come out the middle bead, just like that. And you can see there are some of these center beads that don't have beads in them yet. There are some of these top beads that don't have beads in them yet. So we're gonna reverse our direction. We're gonna add 2 beads, 1, 2, and we're gonna add the next leg of this X is what it's gonna become. So we're gonna go backwards into this middle bead and pull tight. Now this is the first X, so it's gonna look kind of like a wonky Y at first. We'll come back around to it at the end. But now we're coming out of this bead, so we're gonna add 2 beads, 1, 2, and we're gonna go into this center bead right here. Because remember, we reversed the direction. The first layer, we were going that way. This layer, we're going that way. So now we're coming out of here. We're gonna add 2 beads. We're gonna go into this top contact bead, 1, 2, and go in there and pull tight. And now we have our first X. So this is just another method of making the 3D X's on the cuff, but you will notice that when you do it with this method, the hole in this center bead is vertical. Normally when you do the 3D portion with the second layer of X's, the hole in the bead is horizontal. So for our purposes, we want vertical holes in these beads, and you can use this for other stuff too. Now, to continue, we are coming out of this contact bead on the top. We're going to add 2 beads and go into this middle bead here. 1, 2, and down through the top of that middle bead. There we go. Pull in tight. Add 2 beads, 1, 2, and go into that next bead over to add the bottom leg of that X, just like that. So we're going to repeat this all the way around the cuff until we have a layer of X's done. Okay, so we are back around doing the last one here. This is our first little spike that has only one arm, and we're going to add the rest of the arm. So 1, 2, and down through the middle bead there. Pull it tight. Okay. So that's our top row, and we are now going to do our bottom row. So we're going to continue on down the leg and into the base of the cuff. And so we are now coming out of this contact bead here, and we are going to do step 1 again, meaning we're going to add a whole layer of just the first half of the 3D like diagonal spikes. So we're going to add 5 beads, and I'm going to switch my colors up a little bit here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, we're coming out going that way, so we are going to continue on that way. And on the diagonal, we're going to go into this bottom bead here, just like that, and pull it tight. And now we're going to add 5 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go to the next bead up on the diagonal, which happens to be this bead that has stuff already in it. This is why you want to use a needle for this project. Oh my god, I just hit that camera with my face. Hello. This is why you want to use a needle for this project, is because it can get real pain in the ass real quick if you do not have one. Okay. So now you've got kind of a little U shape there. And we add 5 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go down on the diagonal into this bead here. Oh my god, please, I beg of you. There we go. Perfect. So what you're going to end up with is a pattern of beads in this like U shape, and then like corners touching. And you're going to go all the way around the cuff, adding these little spikes until you get back to the beginning here. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back here. We got one left to do. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going back up into this contact bead here on the base. Make sure you get it into the base. Perfect. And pull it tight. And this is why you need to have a base that is an even number of sections around, because you want to get this alternating pattern where the corners are close to each other and then they're far away from each other. If you have an odd number of sections, you will have an odd one out that is like randomly floating. So now we are going to tie off. I'm just going to run the string back up the base to, the top or the bottom of the cuff and tie it off there. I'll be right back. If the lighting has changed, it's because I went and saw Spiderverse in the middle of this, and now I'm back to finish the tutorial. So this is what your cuff is going to look like when you are done and it is all tied off. If you need help with how to tie it off, you can go to this video here, where I talk about how I tie off my cuffs. The next step is going to involve your fishing line and your pearls. First, we are going to do the top row of decoration on the fully closed X's. I cut off around 5 feet of fishing line, and we're gonna take one end and we're gonna actually tie it. Where did I put my candy needle? There it is, okay. There we go, okay. So we're going to take one end of the string and we're going to actually tie it to the big needle. And I'm just going to do a double knot here. 1 and 2, and stick the needle going down through the top of one of the beads. This is just here to hold the string in place while I work. So you're going to take your regular needle, you're going to string it. You can tie a knot to keep it on. I prefer to just fold it over like so and hold it, because the knot, if the holes in your round beads are too small, the knot can actually get stuck. So now you're going to add 3 of the small round beads carefully so you don't stab yourself. 1, 2, and 3. I'm awkwardly putting them on like this so that you can see, instead of just scooping in. So 3 of the little ones, 1 of the big ones, and 3 more of the little ones. 1, 2, and 3. And so see how the string, you've got your anchor at the bottom here, so the string is coming up through the top, it's going upwards. We're going to go over to the next one, and we are going to again go upwards through the next one over, just like that. And when we pull it tight, it makes this neat little wavy thing. In fact, with the size of these beads, with how small these ones are, and this one, the middle one, is more of a medium-sized bead instead of a huge bead, I could actually probably do it with 4 little beads and 1 big bead in the middle. And that would look even better. Hang on one sec. See, yeah, there we go. I think 4 beads is, 4 little beads is the right call. So it gives that really nice kind of, excuse you. Gives that really nice kind of like squiggly line. So we're gonna keep doing that. We're gonna do 4 little beads, 1 big bead, 4 little beads, wavy lines all the way across. We're gonna add them on and then go up through the next bead over. So it's always going up. You can also do it the reverse way. If you start with it going down, it just always goes down through the top. And if your beads are a different size than mine, don't worry. You just have to play with it a little bit to see how many little beads do you want to have in order to give it this wavy line effect. But you just have to have 2 different sizes of round bead in order for this to work. So I'm going to do it one more time just so you can see. It's coming out the top of this bead right now. We're going to add 4 little beads. That's 4, 1 big bead, and 4 little beads. And go up through the next one over, just like that. So we get this really nice squiggly effect. Okay, this is really hard to do on camera, so I'm gonna do the rest and come back around to this point here. Okay, so we are on the last set of beads here, and I was using the clothespin to hold the string in place while I was adding beads. You can also use that as your anchor instead of a candy needle. But we are gonna do that. And I have a bunch of string left over. I have about maybe like 3 feet of string left over, so I definitely went a little overboard on my string. That's fine. We're gonna untie our candy needle because we don't need that anchor there anymore. Let's go. And with our last section of beads here, we are gonna tie it off. I'm gonna tie a double knot here. It is a little bit tricky. It's a little bit of a pain. So you want to make sure that the knot sits in the right spot. Okay. There we go. And double knot. Oh, come on. Oh, you pain in the ass. Why do you do this to me, huh? Okay. New plan. No plan here. All right, we've got this last bead here. We're going to make it stay in place. Take your end of your long string, loop it back through the top of this very last small bead. Just like that. Okay. And hold it all the way up where you want it. Pull it tight. Okay, so now it's going to stop sliding everywhere when I try to tie it off, which we love. And we'll just do a little swoop and swoop, just like that. And a triple knot. You can definitely do more than a triple knot, but minimally a triple knot right here. We'll just pull this out a little bit, make it all even all the way around, and snip snoop, cut off the ends of the string. So that is how you do the top. And now we're going to do the bottom row, and it's going to be similar but not the same. So again, we're going to take our length of string. I'm going to try it with this 3-foot length of string that is left over. It might be too short, and if it is too short, I will pop back in and let you know. But here, we'll do the clothespin there as an anchor. Pick a corner that is close together, like the two corners that are next to each other. Words are hard, you guys. You've got the two corners that are close and the two corners that are far. You want to pick a corner that is close. You're going to go up through the corner. And again, this is working that way. Up through the corner. You're going to add one little bead, one big bead, one little bead. And I'll grab the needle so it is easier to see what I'm doing. Boop. There we go. One little bead, one big bead, and one little bead. And again, I might end up changing this depending on the sizing and how it sits. Okay, there we go. So it is coming up through this bead. We're going to go down through that bead. Okay, that's fine. Probably could work with two beads, two little beads. Doesn't have to. And now we are going down through this bead. So we're going to do a little loop of beads that's going to go back up through here. So I'm going to start with 7 little beads, and then a big bead, and then 7 more little beads. We might have to add more, but let's see. Let's see how this goes. Again, the numbers here can change depending on the actual size of your beads. So if you've got very teeny tiny little beads like I do, you might need more. If you've got slightly bigger beads, you might need less. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my god, this is excruciating. Hang on, I'm gonna speed this part up. Okay, so now we got all our beads on here. 7, 1, 7, and we're gonna go up through this one over here. Boop, just like that. Yeah, that's totally fine. So now we've got this little, like, droopy's not a good word, it's not a pretty word, but it kind of flops down. It's decorative, right? And now we're gonna do that all over again. So between the corners that are close together, it's the little arch of that, and then between the ones that are far apart, it is the larger down arch of that. Do this all the way around, and when we get back here, we're going to do the same way that we connected it here. We're going to tie it off. Okay, I did that by accident, but it does look kind of good, so I am showing you. I'm going to undo it because I really don't want to do that many beads on every single little loop-de-loop, but it's an option. I'm just letting you know it's an option. Okay, so we are back around, and I'm happy to report that 3 feet of string was definitely enough. And we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna just tie it off. We've got string coming out the bottom here. We've got string ready to go up the top here, and we'll just tie a little knot. Oh my god, why? Why is life so hard? There we go. I'm sure there is an easier way to do this that I just have not thought of, but okay, that's 1 knot, 2 knots, and come on, 3 knots. Boom, baby. All right, and we go snoop, 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 snop. Hell yeah. And there's your mermaid cuff. That's how you do it. Go forth, make many. I want to see them. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you had a good time. I hope that all made sense to you. I super look forward to seeing a bunch of these around. I think it's a really, really cool little modification on an X-base cuff, and they are super pretty. There's a lot of really cool and like creative stuff you can do with this color palette and this general like vibe. I do want to see what you make, so tag me on Instagram if you end up posting them. Thank you so, so much for staying till the very end. Thank you times 1 billion to my patrons who feed Hubert and allow him to maintain his rotund, girlish figure. And I love you all very much. See you in the next one. Flare!